Hello everyone. This lesson is transformation of sentences. And as you can see here on this front page, the two pictures on the sides, on your left and on your right, they are both fictional characters that involve transformation. So there are many ways in English language to transform sentences or to change the structure or to change the organization of sentences. And this time, we'll focus on passive voice. When we talk about passive voice, it is actually quite popular and common. It can be used in almost all the tenses. But since it is the first lesson to talk about or to discuss how we can write English lessons in the passive voice, we will only work on the three simple tenses, namely simple present tense, simple past tense, and simple future tense. You write English sentences in the passive voice when you want to or when you have to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action. So take a look of the picture on your right hand side. You see two different people in the picture, and obviously one is much bigger and older than the other. And you may even say the little boy or the little child is going to be beaten very soon. Okay, is going to be beaten. That is the verb form in passive voice. And I'll explain more in the coming slides. Before we formally learn about the passive voice, there are a number of things of English language you should be familiar with. The first one is parts of speech. So you should know nouns, verbs, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, and it would be even greater if you are also familiar with um, the roles of different words that they play in a sentence. Most importantly, subject and object. Then you should also be familiar with past participles. So here, past participles refer to the verb forms you write when you write an English sentence in perfect tenses, such as present perfect tense and past perfect tense. So originally it should be go, but when you write go in the past perfect tense, you should write it as a past participle. So the spelling will be different. It will become gone, gone. And lastly, you should also be familiar with the structure of basic sentences. So here is an example of how sentences in the passive voice are written, and this is in present tense. So first of all, in the active voice, the sentence reads, "Has catch hundreds of mice every day on the street." When the same sentence is written in the passive voice, you may write it as hundreds of mice caught by cats every day on the street. So you see, most of the words here are almost the same. And when you compare the sentences in the active voice and the sentence in the passive voice. But it takes a little bit more explanation to make sure that you understand what is going on. First of all, let's take a look of the subject and how it changes in the passive voice. So in the sentence, in active voice, as is the subject. And when the sentence is rewritten in the passive voice, you can see that the position of case is now different. It is now actually put after the verb. And case, originally the subject, it is now known as the agent. It is now known as the agent in the sentence in the passive voice. And you can see by right before cats. On the other hand, cath, that is the verb in the active voice, now changed or transformed into a different verb form. So you can see that on the one hand, you write catch as a past participle, and therefore you see CAUGHT, caught, caught. Also, right before caught, there is the to be, okay, and it should be ARE. Next part is the object. So originally, hundreds of mice is the object in the sentence in the active voice. When the sentence is rewritten, you see that hundreds of mice now becomes the subject of the sentence in the passive voice. So you may wonder, why does the verb look different? In passive voice, every main verb takes a new form. And actually, that means there are two parts. The first part is BEB. The second part is the main verb as a past participle. Take a look of the arrow here. So you see BEB, where it is written in a sentence in simple present tense, you may write IS is AMM or ARER. And on the other hand, we have the new subject as well. Okay, so here it is a sentence in the passive voice. So you see hundreds of mice originally. Okay, this noun phrase, hundreds of mice, should be the object. Okay, in a sentence in the active voice. However, here in the passive voice, it is the new subject. So therefore, you see, okay, hundreds of mice. Okay, this noun phrase is followed by ARER. Okay, and thereafter we have the past participles, CAUGHT caught. Okay, so altogether, okay, hundreds of mice are caught by cats every day on the streets. That's what you should pay attention to. Okay, when you write a sentence in the passive voice. So next part, that is sentences in the passive voice in simple past tense. So the example in the active voice is a careless driver killed a drunk man early morning. And in the passive voice, the sentence is rewritten as a drunk man was killed by a careless driver early morning. So on this slide, okay, I'm going to have an analysis, okay, of the sentence, okay, in the passive voice together with you. First of all is the subject, a careless driver. And you see that once the sentence is rewritten in the passive voice, this noun phrase, a careless driver, transforms into the agent in the sentence in the passive voice. You may say at the same time, okay, a careless driver is also the object here, okay. But remember that, okay, by object, okay, a careless driver is just um, the nouns, okay, right after the main verb, okay, of the sentence. That's why it is an object here. And then we have the verb, okay. So you should notice that, okay, the spelling is the same, okay, K-I-L-L-E-D. However, quoted, okay, if you take a look of the quoted in the sentence in the passive voice, okay, though the spelling is the same, but okay, quoted in the passive voice, okay, it is a past participle, and you should also find, okay, right before, okay, cute, okay, there is the be, okay, in past tense, that is was was. So the reason why, okay, be, okay, is changed, okay, into was is simply because, okay, the nouns, okay, or the subject of this sentence in the passive voice. The subject is a drunk man, okay? It is a singular noun here, okay? So that's why, okay, the following, okay, to be, okay, B-E-B, okay, it should be W-A-S, okay, instead of W-E-R-E word. Next, we'll go to, how about simple future tense? A lot of the example here, teachers will tell us the winner of the competition soon. And then in the passive voice, the sentence should be, we will be told the winner of the competition by teachers soon. So teachers is the subject in the sentence in the active voice, and it becomes the agent in the sentence in the passive voice. And then the verb, please pay attention when we write a sentence in the simple future tense as well as, okay, in the passive voice. You see, okay, it is will be, and then we have the past participle as the third component, okay, of the whole verb phrase, okay. It should be will be told. And then we have actually two objects in this sentence. The first of all, okay, the first one is the winner of the competition. That is the direct object, okay, the winner of the competition. So it is, you may say, okay, it is the piece of information that the sentence is about. And then we also have an indirect object and indirect object, and that is us, us. So us, okay, becomes we, okay, in the sentence in the passive voice. So such changes in terms of pronouns and syntax takes time and practice. Okay, you cannot learn everything, okay, in one go, okay, or in one lesson, okay. So we will try to discover or discuss more, okay, in the exercises. And here is the verb table showing the verb forms in different tenses, okay, when we write sentences in the passive voice. And you should see that only the words, okay, about the tense and about, okay, to be, okay, are bold. The reason is that, okay, it is the most difficult part, okay, when students learn to write sentences in the passive voice. So I'm not going to explain much here, okay, because honestly, okay, truth be told, you have to remember these forms by heart. So this page you see the tenses, simple present tense, present continuous tense, simple past tense, and past continuous tense. And then you see present perfect tense, past perfect tense, simple future, and then future continuous tense. This is the last part of the table, and you see in on the top left hand corner, the wording is no longer tense but usage. Simply because the following three situations, they are not about tenses, rather they are about different specific scenarios. So the first one is present conditional. So that means it is a kind of if clause, but uh, under this present conditional situation, both the if clause and the main clause should be all written in past tense, simple past tense. As for past conditional, it talks about something that is impossible in the past, and therefore in the if clause as well as the main clause, all the verbs are written in past perfect tense. And lastly, infinitive. When we talk about infinitives, that means the main word itself, will not be changed, in terms of their form, no matter what the tense is, simply because we have a modal verb right before it, And here in this example, the house must be cleaned before we arrive. MUST must, that is the modal verb, So right after a modal verb, the main verb, should remain, um, as the original base form. So the concept of agents, you have seen, the the keyword, agents, in several classes before already, and I think it's now time, to explain to you more about, what agent means. So here, basically, look, agents are the doers, doers of an action in sentences, that means the people or the party, that initiates or that completes an action, the action. And they are usually the subject of a sentence in the active voice. So take a look of the example. Human activities have caused deep climate changes for centuries. So it is a sentence in the active voice. So if it is rewritten in the passive voice, it should read, deep climate changes have been caused by human activities for centuries. And you see, human activities, are these two words, or the whole noun phrase, the whole subject, okay, are now red in color, to highlight, and you can see they are repositioned, in the sentence in the passive voice, and then human activities, this noun phrase now becomes the object, in the sentence. So there are some situations, where you should see the agents, in the sentences in the passive voice. The first one is when the writer knows who or what the agent is. And then the second situation is the writer thinks it is necessary to show who or what the agent is. And number three, readers would have no idea if the agent was not clearly stated. Okay, so these are the three situations, where you should write or where you should see the agent, in a sentence in the passive voice. On the other hand, there are times when the agent is not shown in a sentence in the passive voice. Okay, that means the agent is absent. So here in this example sentence, soldiers were killed in a conflict between China and India. So you see, okay, soldiers as the subject in a sentence in the passive voice, and then you see were killed as the main verb, and you see in the conflict between China and India. This is a situation, okay, and under which soldiers were killed. Okay, it is the situation under which a certain action was completed or was implemented. And there are two main reasons, okay, why you cannot see agents, okay, or why agents are absent. The first one is the writer does not know exactly, okay, who or what the agent is. The writer has no idea, okay. And then the other situation is the writer thinks it is not necessary to write clearly who or what the agent is. So, in other words, the writer assumes or presumes the readers or the public, okay, uh, already know, okay, who or what the agent is before reading his or her text or her report. It's now time for exercises. So this part is relatively easy because you only need to fill the blanks with the verbs in the correct form. So question number one, Betty usually blah 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 her children for a walk in the evening. So it is quite obvious that the sentence is in the active voice, and you only have to take care of the subject verb agreement. So the answer should be takes, takes. Number two, when we reach the border, our car blah 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 by the security guards. Okay, so imagine if you were driving through the border between China and Russia, okay, or maybe between China and North Korea. Okay, you should expect a lot of security checks. Okay, so since the checks, you do not do the checks yourself. Okay, but the security guards, will do the checks. Okay, so it should be our car was checked. And number three, every morning in the forest, the rubber trees are logged by workers. Okay, rubber trees. Okay, they are some very attractive general or natural resources. Okay, so um, there's a great demand for the rubber in them. Okay, so the answer should be unlocked, unlocked by work. In this second paragraph, we have the same kind of fill the blanks exercise. So let's take a look at question number one. Now it's blah blah blah. Many people to be the best tour available in Hong Kong. So if you are smart or sensitive, you should know that it is about people's opinion. Okay, so the answer is now it is considered by. It is considered by. Okay, so to remember when you write a sentence in the passive voice, the subject verb agreement, should stick with the pronoun or the noun, right before the to be, or beb, okay. So in this sentence, the subject is it, and therefore, it should be followed by is here, okay. Question number two. If you choose this tour, you will be picked up at your hotel, and you will be taken a guided tour of some of Hong Kong's most famous places. Okay, here number two will be picked up, and that means a coach, or even a bus, will arrive at your hotel and wait, okay, until you get on the bus, okay, or the coach, okay, and then you have a guided tour, okay. That means, okay, wherever you go, okay, there should be a tour guide, okay, to tell you about the features of different places, okay, or the guy will help you, okay, to take care of yourself, okay, so on and so forth. Here is the third part of the third exercise. And this part certainly is more difficult because you have to rewrite the whole sentence. So let's have a look at question number one. The sentence in the active voice reads, Tim and Ellie decorated the wedding car with ribbons and flowers. So if you are familiar with sentence structures, you should know that, okay? Tim and Ellie are the subject, okay? And then the wedding car is the object. And of course, decorated is the verb. So how do we answer this question correctly? First of all, okay, we write down the wedding car, okay? Because most of the time, okay, the object in the sentence in the active voice, okay, is going to be the subject, okay, of the sentence, okay, in the passive voice. So we start with the wedding car, and then, okay, was decorated, that is the verb, and we have then, okay, by Tim and Ali, okay, and this part is the object, okay, and the rest, okay, with ribbons and flowers. So here I have divided, okay, the answer into four parts, okay, and I've colored, okay, these four parts, okay, with different colors, okay, for you to identify them, okay, more easily, okay. But okay, students, okay, you need to work hard on your own, okay. If you want, okay, you may use your color pencils and color, okay, the parts, okay, of sentences, okay. Maybe it is a sentence, okay, already printed on your worksheet, okay, or maybe it is your own answer. That's fine. And then the last part, okay, this is the most difficult part because, okay, in this part you have to, okay, rewrite a sentence originally in the passive voice, okay, into a sentence, okay, in the active voice. All right. So here you see I already colored parts of the sentence, okay, in question one, okay, only a few people, that is blue, and so on and so forth, okay. So I will only give you one more hint, okay, just one more hint here, okay. That is, okay, for question number one, you should start writing the answers, okay, with doctors, okay, doctors, okay. So that's all for the hints, okay, in this part. So to conclude, passive voice is uneasy, yet it is very important. You should already know that, okay, passive voice, okay, is the way to express an action opposite to the active voice. Apart from highlighting the people or things that receive an action, passive voice is often adopted when the writer or speaker wants to show formality or politeness. So here is another example sentence. If I ever had the opportunity, I would be very grateful. And you see, I have specifically highlighted, okay, the first four words, okay, in this sentence or in this if clause, okay, and it is, okay, the label is present conditional. So when we talk about something that is impossible right now, okay, we write the whole sentence in past tense, okay, so to show that it is impossible. Okay, versus another sentence. I would be very grateful if I were ever given the opportunity. If I were ever given the opportunity. So here in this second example sentence, you see, uh, right in the if clause, the main verb is already written, okay, in the passive voice. In the passive voice, of course, you should also see that there is a different main verb, okay, give or given, okay. Um, Sometimes you may have to change the main verb, okay, in order to express, okay, the same meaning, okay. But anyway, okay, it helps to tell the others that, okay, you are writing or you are speaking politely. So the last message, to master the passive voice, you should keep looking for situations where you can write or speak in it, asking teachers for clarifications. So that's all for today's lesson. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.